Greetings, all you lovely, witchy, druidic, fae people out there. There's been some interesting videos about being witchy and or druidic or fae or whatever, and the use of knickknacks and tools and pretties to help create sacred space or help enliven your practice and things. And it kind of made me think, because we were talking along the lines of also how can you simply and how can you work honestly, I shouldn't say honestly, but how can you work your path and get more involved in it and create a practice that's of value for yourself when you're still exploring things. Now, I myself have been living and exploring the pagan faith, the pagan path in general. Started off with Wicca way back in 1995, 96, probably more like 96. And very quickly I found divination, tarot, and Wicca. But I always had issues with the elemental system cosmos stuff, and I've made a lot of peace with it, though I just still haven't found a group that quite works the way I would like to work. Maybe it's one of those things I just need to stick my neck out and try to create one. But because of that, I've ended up creating an eclectic path of my own, because I do kind of mix in druidry with craft practice, and then the fairy faith and certain aspects I feel very drawn to. But because I live in the Americas, US, I don't feel as pulled to all of the European stuff. I mean, I read it, there's just so much out there for that, but I have to relate it to the experiences I am able to have here with just as we say, the nature spirits of the land here. And here they're Native American spirits, there's people who've passed, there's the plants and environment that we live within. And so even though I do have a bit of bric-a-brac that I use to help create focusing altars, or even create special altars for our seasonal celebrations as a family here, and I have some statuary and tools and things. My path isn't as focused on the tools. I'm quite along down my path, I guess you could say. I mean, I'm pretty much at my around 20 years into being a pagan, so that's like, half my life, pretty much. And one of the things I did, and it took me such a long time to decide this, was I got a tattoo. Now, the reason why I labeled this as SID and an eclectic fae, whatever path or however I labeled this, was because literally I don't want to focus on the bric-a-brac or the statues and all that stuff. That stuff is all lovely. It definitely has a use. But I agree. Some of the other vloggers on YouTube and a few other places have been saying, just going out to buy stuff to have all the pretties and not put much energy into using them is really doesn't put as much value, and it kind of doesn't necessarily encourage your practice unless there's real purpose in having those things. It just becomes stuff that gathers dust, or stuff that's pretty and may even be, oh my God, that's what you're into, shock value, all those different other layers. But as a reader, I create reading tables. I change out my cloths, I dust my tools, I keep certain stones and incense and statuary during certain times of the year. I actually use a certain amount of my stuff. Now, I made myself stop buying candles left and right. I love candles. I love how they smell. I love the shapes you can get them in. I do love a good candle burning, but I just don't use them as often. There's certain times a year where I'm really feel drawn towards candle work, and other times where I'm not. So I made a decision, a promise to myself, that I wasn't just going to go randomly buying candles anymore just because they were beautiful or smelled gorgeous or all those other things. It's impulse buy. And this was really big back when I was helping run a pagan store back in Utah. I was around this stuff all the time. So, I wouldn't just buy randomly all the time, but sometimes certain things would pull to me and I'd go ahead and give in and buy a pretty, So, my thing that I wanted to talk a little bit about was there's other ways to have very personal, meaningful practice and symbolism around you. And one of those is, for me, because of my sensory integration disorder, I have sensory issues. It lends to my sensitivity on a clairsentient level. But I can sometimes wear rings like this one. It's a little frog ring. I love this ring. I like frogs, cats, animals in general. And I can wear certain others, but if they get too bold and bulky, then I can't tolerate it very long. Earrings too. Like I have some really beautiful earrings and sets and stuff, but because of the weight or the shape or whatever it bothers me, it becomes too distracting and then I can't focus. Be it mundane, everyday chores and taking care of my kids, let alone trying to focus on spell work and singing the chants and doing offerings and all the stuff I do in my spiritual path. Now, as pagans, we sometimes when we're starting off, we're shown, okay, we need all a certain collection of tools to work different aspects of our craft or druidic practice. And in the Fae work, they talk about sometimes doing offerings, sometimes interacting with nature to create relationship. There's like lots of different paths and ways to do stuff. But for me, you really love jewelry to kind of have the symbols on me that I wanted to work with and the things I feel connected to. I really enjoyed not tons of jewelry. I can't stand that because sensory wise, too much weight and all that kind of stuff would really bother me. But I did enjoy certain pendants, and I had to be careful about what kind of sorry, I got this window trying to pop up all over the place here. What kind of metals I wore, and also what kind of even fabric material. I have certain touch-based sensory issues and sound-based sensory issues. So one of the things I wanted for a really long time was a tattoo. And I debated, I had gone several times with friends in my teenage years and early 20s to get their tattoos, and I acted as a companion to help distract them because tattoos, it's a lot of buzzing, which is a huge challenge for me as vibration is an issue for me. And the pain factor, anybody has to deal with that, whether you have sensory issues or not. And I was like, okay, get these. It came down to keep buying these, jewelry pieces, pendants, things like that, which I can only tolerate and wear for a certain amount of time before I'm just begging to pull it off myself because of the weight these pieces can have. And if I get lightweight pieces, sometimes they're not made out of very good quality things. And I didn't want to be buying plastic stuff, that kind of stuff. Like there were so many factors in my brain. So I finally decided, probably it's been 5 years, probably somewhere around there, within 5 years, I finally got this tattoo. I actually originally drew this symbol with one part of it missing, which is before it didn't have this enclosed triangle type area. It was just the arms and the spirals that you see here. And this I had on a business card, and I have one around I could probably find to show you. But I added and closed in the center area. That's the only big difference from my original sketch. And before I picked going ahead and use my own sketch of the triple spiral, the Triskel, and there's different symbolism going on here as well. An enclosed circle, or a finished circle on the end of the spiral, a wave or crescent moon or a wave crashing in, and then just a spiral on the one. Hey, Bella. Nice to see you. So I want to introduce the idea that for those of us that can handle it, a tattoo with our favorite symbols is a really basic way to be able to have a major important symbol or tool that we use a lot in our practice as part of a way to have a tool all the time. I'm pretty good. How are you doing? I'm really tired, but I'm trying to pull myself out of it. Yeah. How are you doing? So yeah, so if you're trying to find ways to kind of maybe pull yourself, and then you don't have to do a tattoo. You could do something like, what do you like to do physically? Oh, the sunshine. I do in some ways, but when it's still cold out, it's conflicting for me. But yeah, I'm enjoying some sun. Yeah, that's what happened the other day, right? It was nice and sunny, and then we had a stormy day following. I really love weather. I love how changeable it is, right? Yeah. So if you're not into tattoos, or if you're someone like me that has sensory issues, I mean, I debated this for a long time before I went ahead and went for it. I had saved my own money. My husband actually isn't really that into tattoos. He definitely won't get one for himself. But oh my gosh, like many people I knew had tattoos. I love them. Some of them were very simplistic symbols, kind of like what I did. Some were really awesome back tattoos and sleeves and all different kinds of stuff. Oh, cool. Yeah. And so for me, since I got my tattoo of my triple spiral, it's a little hard to share just because where it's at, and it's really on there so that I can work with it. So it's placed in such a way that it's easy for me to see it. And there's symbolism. And if you could see it properly, I should really have gotten my business card. It almost has like a human shape, like the main body and heads here. It comes down and almost like a leg, and then the spiral is like an arm or an forward of the person. But other than that, it symbolizes the land, sea, and sky with fire as the blender in the center. You can even think of the different phases of the moon. If you think full, crescent, and then the dark moon would be the spiral. So I wanted this symbol became like a multi-use tool for me. If I have nothing else, I can focus on my tattoo and be able to work through a lot of different types of spell work, ritual work, all kinds of different things along those lines. And that's one nice thing about tattoos. Yasmin Gelmore wrote a really awesome book. Um, oh, my full moon was really awesome. I didn't do a lot of work aside from finding a space where I could really be under the full moon for the blue moon. But I have also been working through an Oracle training program with Lucy Cavendish, which has been a lot of fun. So yeah, with all those things, I just tried to enjoy the full moon and just get a little time outdoors yesterday. Yeah. Did you get to spend much time out under the moon, Bella? Yeah, let me know. Yeah, that's another thing. There's certain things like I love the point that a lot of people talk about. Oh, well, we're still under the influence for a couple days, right? So enjoy it. It's still pretty nice size, even though it's not full now. um, and in now we can focus on those things that we want to release, right? We can focus on the release aspect, but still maybe tweak a working to empower something to manifest and come in while releasing something else we don't need anymore. This is a really good kind of transitionary time and that kind of thing for that. Yeah, I like doing those kind of tweaking the energies for the whatever we can do during the time we find we have a moment or need to work. Yeah, so I have had a craving to get another tattoo, but I will have to save a bit of money. Oh yes, yes, money magic. Speaking of money. I would really like to get the double-tailed mermaid. I think it is a Scottish or some kind of Celtic carving, not necessarily Irish though. It's another one of those European ones, but I want to give her a little bit of feminine curve, not a lot. I don't want to take it too far from its original shape or anything. And because I've always thought it comes from an ancient culture. It actually exists, and it isn't what I would call the boobalicious mermaids that you see in so many tattoos out there. I would like that because I work with a lot of water and weather magic, and just living by the bay now, I would like to represent the water energy in a way that I've really admired. And yeah, I'll see if I can get a pic. It's one of those, like I said, it's one of the pic drawings, possibly from over in that northern part of the islands over there. And it's a carving. And I was just going to add a little hint of curve to it, so it wasn't quite so straight and tonal on the torso section. See you later in a minute. So, if you have been wondering about ways to, like, if you travel a lot and you can't have a bunch of the bric-a-brac, or you want only certain tools that you absolutely need to have with you, but maybe you don't can't carry that much, a tattoo of a cloth piece, like I think making your own like what do they call it, embroidery or knitted piece, would be so much more personal, that you've put so much of yourself in it with natural fibers, or however you make them, your choice, what you have, what you can afford. It would be so more meaningful than the average, just I bought something and it kind of had what I needed, so I wanted to get it. Not that I'm saying don't get things if you really love them and you can't stop thinking about them. That's when I usually know that I need to get something. When it's just like I'm somewhere and I'm just looking for something because I need to have something, that's really impulsive, and it's different than when you've been thinking about it over a long period of time, or it keeps coming up. And you're like, okay, well, this is like, how many times do you let something come up before you go, oh, okay, I'm finally going to do something about this. So yeah, I just would like to encourage people that, yeah, I get the point of the conversation that I have been hearing about whether or not is it important to be, it doesn't really help you follow along your path to be buying all this beautiful statuary and stuff. Or would it be better to maybe take your time? Because for me, I actually collect stones from nature. I love collecting smooth stones from different waterways near places that I visit. I love, I've asked certain family members to collect just a little bit of sand for me to have from beaches I've never been to yet, so that I could feel the energies of the land, sea, and sky from those areas, and maybe even lend that into spiritual work or meditation. And for me, meditation is a bit different. It's more like me running through sensory experiences while I'm focusing on an object or a concept or a feeling, and working through it and seeing how I can move things further ahead. For me, my spiritual path is a lot of internal work, but I do enjoy actually getting out in nature when I can, and experiencing, trying to create connection and understanding relationship between myself and the physical nature of the earth that is around me. Although I've done some pretty good actually manifesting spell work. And I don't do it all the time, because I feel, for me, it's like when I have a real need, my focus is better. When I just want to create and be in touch with the spirits to keep a connection and a relationship going, it's a different kind of focus. Some of the same build up, but like a different communication in that instance. And when I'm out and about, I don't want to carry like a ton of stuff to create an altar out in nature. I want to use the environment, and I am in, at least for my spiritual work. And that's something people can think about. Like, if you're not really a nature-based spiritual worker, then you may need the paraphernalia, the tools, the statuary, and everything else to create the energy and the practice that you want. But if you're really about wanting to connect with nature, or really focus and learn how to be moving the energy within your body and doing your spiritual work as, like I said, a eclectic fae, a druid, or a witch, then you really need to think about, what do I really need to do my practice? Because if you can't really afford to get all the pretties, then you don't necessarily need them anyways. It's nice to have some of it, but it's not like the most important thing. And I've met a few people who are like, if I don't have this, I can't even start. If I can't have that, I don't even start. Being a nature slash fae bent practitioner, I don't work with a lot of metal tools like a knife or a sword or anything along those lines, because most tools like that are made with mixed metals, and that might have iron within them. And with faith and nature faith work, you don't want to have that involved, because it's bars or protects against those kind of spirits being able to come and work with you. It is a long tradition and a long held belief within the fairy faith that iron protects you against the fae being able to come close. Now, they say the exception is the earth, certain earth nature spirits who actually work with minerals and certain things. But on average, I've found that when it's been man manipulated and it is more of a weapon, then yeah, in general, it tends to make it harder for the work to go through, which is why I find it totally hilarious when I see these little offering bowls made out of metal. And I'm like, okay, I hope you're calling earthy, like brownies or certain kind of dwarf type energy to work with you, because they're going to be the only ones that can really come close or even partake of your offerings. If you're trying to work with the air fae, or what I call the sky fae, the tree spirits, the water spirits, maybe. It depends. I would say like certain kinds, maybe. And then like animal spirits, they all feel metal is a threatening thing. Okay, so that when you use metal tools, you are actually creating a protective barrier for yourself to keep the spirits at a distance. Whereas when you're working with cloths, ceramics, or natural wooden bowls, things like that, or even say shells that you're using as bowls instead, and you can use, like, as long as you don't put anything hot in them, you can seal the holes in a shell with wax, and then it will hold water perfectly, and be a more natural tool to work with. But again, if you're working on more of a ceremonial path, and it's a totally different dynamic going on there. So me being more of a nature path worker that also does a lot of internal flow and focus with the currents within the body, I work very differently than, say, a ceremonialist who might actually need a bunch of paraphernalia and tools and pretties. But I don't disparage anybody's path. I'm just saying what for me came up when I was listening to people talk about this subject is like, well, you know what? I hardly ever wear as much jewelry as I used to anymore, because I finally got this tattoo that had like the main symbol that I work with the most and the one I enjoy the most. And my biggest issue was that I always felt kind of constricted and pulled on and just fiddled and fussed with my clothing or the jewelry, even just whatever on me. And I know that if I'm going to do actual spiritual work, I need to be less distracted and be able to focus in the moment. So, yeah, a tattoo worked for me. Now, not everybody with sensory issues is going to be able to get a tattoo, because they may not be able to handle the vibrational and the pain that's involved in getting a tattoo. But if you do a smaller symbol, a more simple symbol like this doesn't take very long at all. And if you think of it almost as a rite of passage, of proving to yourself that you truly are dedicated to the path, like, and almost like a part of your initiation or moving up a level in your spiritual craft. Because literally, I've been before I got this tattoo, I had been a pagan for like over 15 years, and then around 15 years, I would say. And then when I got my tattoo, it was like I finally understood what symbolism meant the most to me and what I really needed. And it was like kind of a confirmation and keeping it imprinted in my body of what my intent was moving forward. And it's not very flashy. It's very easy to see it. And yeah, I sometimes need to cover it, but I don't work in a field where I can't have tattoos, and I didn't pick one that's overly flashy or overly colorful. I would like to maybe get something like that, but it'll probably be a little while before I do, because it was intense and I definitely had to do some heavy breathing during it, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And I also was really ready for it. I had agonized over this for so long. At first, partially it was money, and then it was more like, well, exactly what kind of triskel or triple spiral do I want? And then I had looked at so many awesome artwork pieces and so many other tattoos just to get inspiration, that I was feeling like, you know what, I want mine. I want the one I drew for my little business card way back in the day when I was starting to try to see where I wanted to go with things. And I mean, I drew like over 60 versions of this before this one, the shape specifically of this one was like, yes, that's it. I didn't even need to draw another Triskel after that. So, long story short, if you're on your spiritual path, maybe you're more further along and you're trying to figure out things, if you're way early in your path and you're buying different things because you think you need it to just even practice. In some cases, for focusing tools, you do maybe want to get a few things, or find natural objects that you can use, or make your own little statue with clay or what have you. All those are options, but don't feel like you have to go and mesh up to the quality or create these spiritual corners or altars or whatever to be able to practice, because you don't. Many of us starting out are young and we have to kind of hide what we're doing. Not everyone all the time now. There's quite a few now parent pagans who are totally understanding and happy to help you along your path. But there's still a lot of us who come from another religion and still are young and not quite established and created our own homes yet, where we have to share our space. So that's when you want to have the only what you absolutely need, and maybe don't feel too pressured about buying all the tools and the knick-a-brack and all that kind of stuff. And I guess that's enough for me. I thought that was an interesting topic, and I definitely had my feelings on the changes that I have evolved to now. And one of them was I realized I don't wear half as much of the pagan jewelry, pendants, and I wear some rings that I really like. Most of them have animals on them and a few symbols, but I don't even wear my Triskel jewelry hardly at all. Now that I have had my tattoo. And part of that is like I couldn't find some of it. Like once I got my tattoo, it was like I didn't keep track of my jewelry as well. And so I have certain key pieces, but then some of my Triskels, I don't know, they're probably tucked somewhere and I just haven't pulled them out. So there you go. All right. I hope you all have a very lovely start to your April. Now that we're fully in swing with spring, may you all have a great week. Oh, hello, Bella. And here I was thinking I was going to wrap up. Oh, well, I'm here. Yeah, I am going to have a video up shortly. I got the Mystical Shaman Oracle over at, Barnes & Noble. I actually got a better price there than I would have gotten on Amazon. And oh my gosh, it's really beautiful. A well done box and packaging too. Have you seen this oracle yet, Bella? It's so pretty. I don't even know what to do with myself. I'm in the middle of a Oracle training with Lucy Cavendish, but I wanted to get the best price possible that I could of this Oracle. So I went ahead and got it. I'm probably not going to get to spend a lot of time with this one for a couple of weeks, but when I can, I'm thinking about starting to show some practice spreads and, oops, sorry. Oh, you had it on forever. You know, I thought about doing that, but I had done something like that with the Pauline, I think it was called Spirit Song Tarot or something like that with the animals. And then I saw it, or for some reason I couldn't get it. Like I had it on pre-order, then for some reason it wasn't coming. It wasn't coming. Oh, you paid too much? Oh, you know what? I only got an extra couple dollars off the original discount on Amazon, but still, that was a few extra bucks. And I got it because I have an educator card being a homeschooler. For some reason, it covers nonfiction books. Oh, you paid 30? I think I paid, where's my receipt? I think I have it right here. Oh, well, even with my educator card, I paid $32. But now after the pre-order price, it was going to be like $32.50 something. I mean, I only got like $1 or $2 off if you include tax. So, ooh, it's on the edge. Sorry about that. Don't mean to shake y'all. But yeah. Oh, the edge. You had that? Okay. But yeah, I'm really loving, I think the same artist that did the Good Tarot did this one too. Oh, really? On their pre-orders or just in general? Oh. Well, you still got a better deal than me. I'm just glad I was able to get a deal at all. So, yeah, because I got birthday money and I was like, okay. Your favorite card? My favorite cards? Okay, so I've only walked through it once, but I will say that, and it's going to take me a sec. I will say, oh my goodness. I really like the Beauty Way, partially because it's like a lotus with a dragonfly. I really like that. I really actually like a couple of the element cards, like water and the lightning bolt one. I remember when I was looking through that. Hold on, it's in order, so I'm like, oh, I love this coyote too. The animal cards in here, I really love. I love any deck with animals, honestly, but I love the coyote. I have a thing for foxes and like not wolf canines. I like wolves too, but the crow's really neat. There's kind of like, as you know, there's kind of like dual symbolism or other symbolism collaged in there, and I like that aspect of this deck so far. Let's see. I like the tools, like the drum. Yeah, you like foxes too. The eagle's pretty cool, but it's not one of my favorites. Okay, so like, I'm not big on element cards, but I actually do like how they show Earth. And the Earth Keeper is a really beautiful card too. I like that it's more like a spirit. I mean, it is a being, but it's like drawn in such a way where it's more like a spirit. Fire. Here's the other one. Fire. I love these cards. Normally, I'm not really big on element cards, but I do like in flow. I love this card because I am all about ebb and flow. It's really pretty. The Ghost Dancer is nice. I know about the giveaway only because I've studied Native American traditions, and there's like a couple of different tribes that do that. But I haven't really gotten to read the book yet. I literally got it like this weekend. So, where was the other one? Oh, the Jaguar. That's a really cool card. It's a cool card. And then, oh, here it is. I love the lightning. I thought that the system sounded really cool. Truth and Story, of course, has a ginormous video on this. Kelly is awesome. But I didn't watch all of it until after I got the deck. I've been doing that lately because she's just so detailed. This one's pretty cool, the magic card. I like the level of like, it's almost like spirit impressions of certain energy around the people. The medicine wheel is another, oh, you don't watch hers until you, yeah. I mean, otherwise it's like, oh, I've seen it all, right? But sometimes if I'm really undecided on a deck, I will watch one through. It just depends. Oh, I do like, did you notice the cards, or you probably did, the cards that have like Middle Earth, Upper World, and then the lower, this is the Middle World. I like these. I like these a lot because I work with that. The Moon card is awesome. I like that they put a feminine spin on it because I really do. I'm hoping that it's just talking about, you know, cycles of the moon and women intuition and possibly even, you know, women's cycles, that kind of stuff. Oh, the owl. That's a pretty one too. That's a really cool one. I like the owl. There's just so much going on there. I love when it's a deck that you need to go back and take a peek at the cards a few different times to catch all the symbolism and action going on in it. That really appeals to me. Yeah, the owl card is wonderful. I really love the sacrifice because I love how in the hand here it looks like the person has put the offering up in the sky and it's being literally taken in parts and pieces. It's being accepted. And it's not in like a creepy way either. It's more like the essence, you know, like powder and dust or whatever. It's just really cool. I like that one. The seer just is very Native American to me, or tribal. I guess it could be even South American. I like that it's included, and I love pumas or panther, jaguars, any feline, but there's something about it that I feel a little unsettled with, and I haven't figured it out yet. I do feel it's a powerful card. And let's see. Let's see, what was the other one? Oh, I love this one. This one had me fooled for a second. I didn't get that it was a chrysalis at first with like a butterfly or a moth hanging off of it. I thought it was like a person in a cloak or something at first glance. And so it took me a minute to really take this one in, but I really like it now that I finally understood what was going on. I was like, okay. Oh, and of course the spiral. How could I not like the spiral? This is what the inside of a shell looks like, or at least parts of it. It's really cool. And what was the other one? There's the sun's nice. Sweat Lodge. Oh, let's see. That's okay. I like thunder. I like that there's bison on thunder. I think that's a cool one. I like the Tree of Life. I'm big on the tree symbolism. Oh, here's the Upper World. That's one of the ones I like. I really like how they've done the blue tones with the, this is wings and roots and different things going on there, but I really love the tones in this one. And then, oh, here's that other element card, water. That one really grabbed me. I like that one. And I got to think about some of the rest of it, but those were the ones I was remembering off the... Oh, and there's wind. I love that they didn't say air. I love that they used wind instead. That was awesome to me. And I like how it literally feels like a gush of wind just flowing around. So that's really cool. Really, really cool. Yeah. And the witness card I think is very interesting because it's Antlered Lady. And again, I haven't gotten to read the book yet. I'm definitely going to spend time with this, but I'm in the middle of a training and I don't want to confuse symbolism with the training that I'm doing elsewhere. So I intend to really study this deck when I'm done with the training. but I just wanted to get it now so that I would have it, so I could start whenever I was ready. And I had been waiting so long for this deck, and I already had that weird disappointment. Let's see. Hold on, I'm trying to pull up what you just said. Uh-oh. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Oh, I thought so too. I really felt like it was going to be, oh, now I got something silly on there. Okay. It was going to be, easy to follow, and there's just so much going on there. I love a oracle with a system if it has it, or even just a couple of key cards, and then kind of maybe a more intuitive system all around it. But I like decks that you can kind of just pick up and run with your intuition. And then, you know, it's nice to have one that you need to study a bit more too, especially if it's introducing you to, say in this case, shamanic paths that you are not familiar with, or even symbols that you're not familiar with, as there are some in this deck that I have not really worked with or only heard of in passing. So in either case, it's going to be wonderful. And I have enough of a... Yeah, I agree. Unfortunately, I got something popped up on here. I shouldn't have. There we go. Fixed it. Okay. I'm still getting used to using my phone on different things on YouTube because normally I use my computer, but I was like, nope, I don't want to do that today. Yeah. Well, if you drive the freeway, we live pretty close. One of my issues is driving the freeway. If I could find a way to drive on back roads and everything, yeah. Yeah, that's one of the things, being a spiritual person, and I mean, everybody's got their own little tweaks and things, but I find, yeah, I find, oh, you hate driving altogether. You know, I found going on the train, that might be an option depending on the connection points. Yeah, I sometimes have to, I have this stuff called True Calm. It's totally natural supplement with some amino, good stuff for the brain in it, and some herbs. And it helps me level my stress levels so that I'm not too, oh, cool. Yeah. Well, I usually have some time on the weekends. Weekdays, I got kids, so I have them on the weekend too, but my husband's more available, so I can go off. Yeah. Oh, did you see the other one I got? Have you seen this one? I got this book. Evidently, it literally... Oh, I'm the Barnes & Noble here in Olympia. I'm within 10 minutes. Or less, depending on the day. So I also, not too long ago, picked up the Lunar Normand Oracle. This one. And this is another one because I was actually just getting started in the Oracle course I'm taking, that I've only been able to flip through it, but it's like the largest in, not thickness, but in just card size of any of my decks. Even my Druid Craft Tarot is not as big as this one, honestly. And this is like an Oracle / Lenormand. I think I put a video up. Yeah, you know, I know that not everybody's into Lenormand or maybe all the different kinds of styles, so I wouldn't try to make you get it if you're totally not interested. I just really liked the collage way and the coloring that they did in this deck, or how they did the coloring, the tones. I shouldn't call it coloring because it's not color in the sense of a coloring book, but I really liked, like, I love the simple symbol on the back, the key, with like a moon and stars and you look through the keyhole. I love that. But then like everything's in this kind of, I don't want to say sepia tones because there's a lot more going on than that, but I really love the tones that this one is in. And when I do like web readings, oh, you know what? I did see that at Barnes & Noble's. Yeah, I did see that book, but then I thought, you know, I'm already doing so much right now. I gotta wait a minute. I was just like, you know. And then when I was at the Barnes & Noble this time, I found this Fairy Stones book. It's actually just came out like a couple days before I got to the store. And I really like it because it has like that really cool little key, like you know how they go through the other names, the chemical composition. I thought that was a cool thing because they don't always add that into spiritual practitioner books. And then, yeah, this one is like, okay, so this is like aventurine, right? So it's like the other names of aventurine, like green quartz and gambler stone or the lucky stone. And then it talks about the chemical composition. It says SiO, and then 2, so that would almost like H2O or something like that, but it's SiO2. And then green hues and specs, so a description. And it says it's like the specs are from, and I don't know if I can pronounce it all. Oh, cool. I am not the best at gardening. I kind of like wildcrafting a little bit better. But that is really cool. Fairy garden. Yeah. Back in Utah, they had this fairy forest that people would paint rocks and stuff, and then they'd go put it as part of this little fairy forest / hidden maze that was out in the forest near some hiking trails and camping areas. And I participated in that a couple of times. But fairy gardens are so cool. Do you got some fairy herbs going on in there? Well, this one's about stones, and it talks about how, you know, certain the planets it's connected to, the season. They do? Oh, that's so cool. I'd love to find out where is it something you can track on those like geocache like apps? Because that's how we found it the other time, was a geocache thing. It was actually one of our priestesses of the Church of the Sacred Circle in Utah found out about it. That's way cool. Ooh, I'm going to have to look. Yeah, I'm going to have to research and look. That'd be cool. Yeah, this one had birthstones, the chakras. I don't do much on chakras, but I like knowing it because other people do. And fairy monarchs and deities, and then fairies, the different fairies connected to this stone, and this one I'm looking at as a vitrine. I'm probably saying it wrong, but oh, cool. That is so awesome. Yeah, I heard, and the one back in Utah, it got a little bit messy. I think that happens when people start, I mean, it's one thing to paint rocks and then put like natural things around it, but I think some people in the one that I visited in Utah had started putting like plastic stuff in their little setups and things. And I think that got a little bit trashy or something. So I heard that they were doing a cleanup on it. So I hope that locally they're doing a more natural, like painted rocks with maybe natural stuff, because we have to think about the animals and the other beings that are sharing that natural space, right? Yeah. I was so glad when our church did it, we only painted the rocks, and we used a paint that would totally, you know, just adhere to the rocks and you couldn't lick it or anything and it would come off, you know, like an animal might lick a stone for salt or something, minerals. And so, yeah, so this, I'm really intrigued. I haven't gotten, like I said, I just got this book too, but I was so glad that they had like a book about stones and stuff that was focused towards the fairy faith, because you used to have to peruse a crystal book and look for anything that might be connected to fairies. And this one is all connected and shows you how it can be connected to different areas of Fae and nature. So I thought that was really cool. Yep, I see. I have to keep remembering I'm on my phone and not my computer. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, that's why I was really excited. And I even got this book on discount too with my educator card. I was surprised. I actually thought I wasn't going to count towards it, but you know, you just run it and see what happens. But since I guess it is learning about stones, and it actually has the chemical compositions in it, so it's not just, you know, a new age book in that sense. Maybe that's why, I don't know. I think maybe they take nonfiction things and allow you to use it with your educator card. That was my most practical response to that. Yeah, and there's no pictures, which I was a little disappointed in that, but it's pretty simple to see. They just slightly bolden the areas, and then it's all words. But it's a good sized book. It's like over 240 pages long. Yep. And there's a good reference cited in the back. I love that. And a bibliography, if I said that right. I like that too. And yeah, so those are my, like, I guess you could call it my Fae haul, my divination and Fae haul. Yeah. Do you have a Barnes & Noble card or the educator card? Because those are two different things. As far as I know. They're two different things. Sorry, I have you guys like balancing. It's hung over my computer because I don't have a really good stand. And the cover I have for my phone that I'm using to do this is like, it can stand, but at an angle. And I wanted it more level, a little higher up. And I was just trying it. I was like, okay, I need another method to do this because I want to be able to do this outside. And I don't want to have to take my computer every single time I want to do a video, because I feel like I get a better flow when I'm trying to do spiritual work or even divination or different things outside. It's just still a little nippy here. We're in the 50s. In some areas it feels warm, but yeah. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. So I'm not there yet, and I'm not even sure if I'm going to get to homeschool all the way up to 12th. We're part of a program here called Orla. And so we're homeschooling some of it, and we're taking some classes there. And my husband would really like the kids to go. That's why we're part of Orla, is he wants some public school experience. So we have different ideas on education, and we're just trying to make peace between us and what the boys need. So yeah, there you go. But yeah, I'm trying not to buy too many pretties right now because I am immersed. And right now I actually was trying to, oh my goodness, so I'm doing Lucy Cavendish's part 1 Oracle training. And you know, I'm a Oracle reader. I Entro and Lenormand and stuff. Thank you. I will. I've been pretty stubborn on it, and it's the one thing he hasn't been able to get his way on, and I think that kind of irritates him. But you know, I'm the one who deals with it all the time, not him. So whatever. But yeah, I was working. Where's the deck? I was working the Fairy Forest deck by Lucy Cavendish to do the course at first, but the artwork just doesn't talk to me. It's a beautiful deck. The artwork is lovely. But yeah, it just does not talk to me. And so I spent the first 2 weeks in the course trying to get further into this deck. I kind of made a little bit of progress on it's almost half the deck that has artwork style that's different than the other, and it just doesn't talk to me. So I tried doing what she said, really spending time with the Oracle book, the companion guidebook that came with it, and really getting that introduction better down, as well as study the meanings and look at the cards at the same time. I've always done that, but I really made a focus effort. But even when I bought it just because it was one of her decks, and I said fairy, so I had to get it, right? um, the first part cost, I think it's Aussie money. So for me, it was like $100 and maybe $5, but I think there it was like 130. So with the conversion for US, it's only 105. Oh yeah, you trimmed yours? Oh, I thought about that, but I wasn't sure how to do that without the back borders looking odd. Well, that's cool. I'd love to see how it turned out for you. Yeah, it's yeah, that one's a 6 week class, and we're actually mostly supposed to do this like time where we connect with her on Sundays, but because this Sunday was a holiday for everybody, and not everybody who reads our works with her decks are all pagan. She had it that we're going to talk with her next time on the 4th. So yeah, I ended up switching to this Oracle of the Shapeshifters to do the rest of the class with, because I just couldn't get past. I mean, I tried for almost another week with her suggestions, and really trying to connect. And I was able to do a couple readings after studying the meanings more, but when it came to those cards in the deck with the art that wasn't meshing with me, I could make no progress. So yeah, I had to make a decision. So now I'm working with the Oracle of the Shapeshifters right now, and I'm trying not to work with too many other decks, except for when I'm working online for a site or two that I'm working on right now. Actually, I'm working for one site and I'm applying to another, and I'm really hoping to hear something soon, because on the website one, you know what? It's half the deck though. If it was only a handful, I could totally see doing that, but half a deck, that's a lot, you know? It might not be well balanced enough to do really good readings at that point. What I'm thinking is that maybe I'll have to pass this one on to somebody. True, but then there's an aspect of needing balance in the deck. And one nice thing about her decks is that there's usually a good combination of shadow and light, or even the middle areas. Like, it's a really good combination of stuff. It's just, I'm the kind of person that if I can't really use it, then I want to make sure I pass things on to someone who can use it, you know? And plus, I've been thinking, since I've seen a bit more of the vampire deck, I don't really get a lot of vampire decks. I don't mind some Darkling stuff, or even steampunk kind of stuff. But I got to see more of her vampire deck, and it is gorgeous, and not just beautiful, but like I got to see some of the meanings on it and people working with it, and it seems to be very thought-filled and actually a usable deck. So I'm thinking about getting that one. Yeah, I know, but I haven't gotten her spell decks. I've gotten her oracle decks, but I haven't gotten her spell deck, and I'm even considering getting her Blessed Bee deck, even though I'm not Wicca. I just liked some of the phrasing I saw in it, and oh, it's gorgeous purple deck. Yeah, that's another one I'm thinking about right now, but I'm kind of trying to make peace with the idea of getting that. I basically, I'm waiting until I have a little bit more money, and I'm probably going to get that vampire deck, because I'm going to have to order it. I'm not going to be able to get it anywhere locally. So yeah, because it's been out for a few years, right? Yeah, it's been out for a few years. Oh, the Blessed Bee? You don't have that one yet? Or the vampires? Because I think you said you had all of them, so I'm thinking you're saying you don't have the Blessed Bee yet. That's coming out, and she gave us in the class, the Oracle training, a little preview of a few cards. Yeah. And it's gorgeous. Oh my gosh, it's a gorgeous deck. Even though it's more of a, oh, I gotta tip this the other way. Sorry about that. Even though it's more of a, I think it's kind of like a draw a card a day kind of thing for, or if you're trying to do blessings or certain works, it can be like a spiritual tool. Normally I don't go for those kind of decks. Yeah, but she got her copy of it and she showed a couple of them to us, and it was gorgeous. So yeah, I'm not really a Wicca, but I still think I could use it in a way as like a focusing point. And it's Celtic inspired, and I'm big on the Celtic stuff. So yeah, I just thought, oh, that's gorgeous. But yeah, I'm bummed about that Fairy Forest deck. But I'd rather, like I said, see it go to someone who can actually use it, who can get past the artwork. It's gorgeous, but like some of it seems, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, there's a few Facebook groups where people are having like a divination market where you could trade or sell. So I was gonna see if I can maybe connect, because I think I might have a couple other decks too that I'm ready to part with. Yeah. But oh, I should grab it real quick. I'm actually getting a really great response from my Oracle of the Unicorns. Do you know that one? It came out by Brabs, I think is her last name. She did a Goddess Power deck a few years back, but now she has this Oracle of the Unicorns, which is, I love her little things. I know in her PS it said something like, there are more than oracles in this deck. It's like Oracle Pegasus, Unipegs, and Fairy Ponies and stuff like that. And she says, but it would have been too long of a title, so I picked Oracle of the Unicorns. A lot of people were saying it was a very light deck. Let me just grab it real quick because I've been wanting to talk about that. Yeah, let me just grab it. Sorry for the wiggles. Boys, you better be moving. Oh, I am going to have to put this on a much steadier place for everybody next time I do this. I am so sorry for anybody who might be feeling a little because it keeps moving. Okay, so this is the cover. And the creator is Cordelia Francisca Brabs. She also did the Goddess Power deck, I believe it's called. Yes. Goddess Power deck. It's in my closet. I had that deck for like, dude, that deck kept telling me I was going to be a mom and that I was going to get pregnant, and then I did. So I knew that this deck was going to be good. So one of the things, I got this deck last summer, and I think I even have a video on my channel. I walk through it and everything, and I'm outdoors when I do it, so go check it out. Yeah, it's really gorgeous. This is a multi-artist deck. I don't remember how many different artists, but I can take a peek if you want. And I got to visit Iceland this winter. And this is like the Aurora Borealis. So yeah, I just love that. Yeah, I was like, seriously? You keep telling me to be a mom? Well, and then I got pregnant. I was like, oh. Okay. But it was weird because I had always helped take care of my siblings and been kind of the surrogate mother for years. So I just thought I was a mom type. So the deck, the book has like a lot of nice little info. It's like, let me see. It is a Blue Angel deck. So if you like Blue Angel decks, it's one of theirs. The box is really beautiful. It reminds me a lot of like the mermaid deck in the tones, but it's not mermaid at all. And for me, like the only other Oracle deck I had with unicorns was Doreen Virtue's deck, which is beautiful and it has gelding and stuff. But this deck is a multi-artist deck, and it has like, okay, a key phrase, dance, and then it has 3 actionable, like one's almost like, I'll read this one example. So this one says, move your body to music, dance with the rhythm of life, and manifest your dreams through dance. Okay. So I think depending on the question or what's happening in one's life, you would feel drawn to one or another of the phrases. Some of it's like direct guidance, some of it's more affirmation, some of it is kind of divination, like predictive or divination-datory. I'm just not having a great time saying that word today. Anyways, so that's really cool. And I really do tend to get pulled towards one of those when I'm reading for someone with this deck, or even just what's happening in the picture, you know, that kind of thing. And ironically, when I used this on the full moon, I got online that day and I was pulling as it turned to the 31st. I was working that night and I kept getting all the full moon cards in this deck. So it was really cool. The art is absolutely gorgeous. I was so drawn to this deck. And this one picture is actually in the Lucy Cavendish deck of the fairies ones. Let me think. Wild Wisdom Fairy Oracle. That one, I think, has this. But it's for something else. This one's Discernment. So it's really pretty. Miracles. Oh, and this has the tones that are on the back of the deck. And actually, I believe this part of the picture, okay, is what they made. Or actually, sorry, I take that back. It's this part of the picture. Right in here. Is what they used for the back of the cards. Yeah, this side over on here. The sky and then the trees reflecting on the water. This is the card that they grabbed the backs for. And this one's called Miracles. And I love, can you see the water doing its, you know, little echo effect? It's gorgeous, right? So, okay, so my big thing is that everybody was saying this is such a light deck. And I just don't feel that way. I feel like some of the cards in this deck, and I'm going to try to show you a couple different styles of art. That's here. Here's another one of those. Oh, and the colors are so beautiful. Oh, it makes me just... Okay, here's one of the... It's Strength, but it's kind of dark. Okay. I honestly don't feel like this is a very... people were saying, oh, it's so light. It's very affirmation, yada, yada. I'm like, not so much all the time. I mean, yeah, it's not like, oh, something horrible is going to happen, but... Oh, the Strength one? Sure. This one says, this is Strength again. I'll just put it here. And it says, this challenge will make you stronger. You will get through to the other side and look for the gifts in this situation. So yeah, it is taking a challenging thing, right? It's saying use your strength to help you get through it. It's saying that you will get to the other side of the situation. And it's also saying, look for any lessons. It says gifts in this situation, but I would also apply the idea of lessons, you know? And I mean, any good deck would have that kind of thing. It isn't just focusing on negative. And this doesn't, I admit, it doesn't have like, oh my God, you're going through a fiery challenge or blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't just have positive things. And I went through this deck showing the shadow side of the deck, and they're like, are there no positive cards with these unicorns? I was like, oh no, I'm just showing the shadow side. This is a really sweet one. It's called Innocence. Yeah, exactly. We need to hear that kind of stuff. So awesome, right? Here is Hope. Hope. Oh, I love this. I love the haircut on that horse. Isn't that cool? It's like, if ever it's either a really butch feminine horse or a really male horse, right? Or sorry, not horse, unicorn. I get confused because actual unicorns are not necessarily horse-like from what my research was on. They're more a cross between a goat and a deer with one horn. But we tend to see them as like the horse style or pony style. This one's a really cool one, Healer. It just feels so calm. It's just, it has such a, I don't even know. I love the dust that's coming off of the tip of the unicorn. It's like healing dust, fairy dust. It's just, feels. And this one's very sweet. It's called Support, and this is going to be a Pegasus. And the woman is basically clutching and holding the Pegasus as they're in flight. So yeah, oh, here's the other style. You may recognize this artist if you've gotten the magical something oracle. What is it? She did another oracle of her own. But this is, she has like, I think 3 pieces in here. Yeah, it's gorgeous, isn't it? And I love, if you look in the cheek, there's like this little like vines, like tattoo or some kind of, I don't even know how to describe it. There's like tattoos on both the girl and the horse of like vined and leaves. It's gorgeous. So cool. And this is past lives. Yeah, it's just, oh, and then I always think of my husband when I get this one. It says friendship, but it has like a squirrel and the horse, and I was trying to see if there was something in the background. Nope, trees. Okay. But it's really cute. I just love that. Oh, here's anger. This is another good one to show that it isn't just like positive Mary, you know? And it says safely express your anger. Use anger as a positive force and honor all of your emotions as sacred. So again, more an active use of anger, but still, if you were reading intuitively, you might go, ooh, you've been experiencing anger, you know, and then these are some actionable ways to deal with it, which I like. I like acknowledging the experiences and then having something to work with. This deck is awesome. And I just got really irritated when everybody was like, oh, it's such a light deck. And I'm like, actually, no. If you take time to check it out. Passion, this one's cool. It says, do what excites you. Get fired up about your life. Increase your energy levels. Now, I actually feel that this one could be showing a bit of, like, if you got it reversed, it could be passion, but taking it to way extreme levels, right? But again, this is a more action-based deck that's trying to help you work through things. So I'm just saying I could see, since I tend to use animal oracles, like my first ever animal oracle was the Druid animal oracle, and I tend to use it a little bit differently than what it was created for because I work with it based off of my knowledge of animals and what I've studied from the deck and then what I'm getting from people. And for me, I tend to relate people to animal personality types and how they interact, how humans have similar patterns as certain animals in breeding and relationships, as well as how they would go for things in their life. Yeah. So when you're when you show people having or talk to people and tell them how they're like other animals and they have this attitude sometimes that they aren't an animal, they're a human, and somehow that makes them different. It's kind of interesting to see how that dynamic works through their brain and how they think about things changes a little different, or just like, oh, I'm an animal too. Wow, we have that much in common with that animal. That's kind of whoa. You know, it just makes them reassess. Oh, here's one of the like lighter ones, and I just love that. Delight. And this is like a fey pony with a little dandelion puff. It's just so adorable. Exactly, right? Exactly. We all do. It says, count your blessings and enjoy your life. Take pleasure in simple things. Always expect the best. So yeah, this is a lighter card in the deck. And I actually had to pull some lighter ones out because I pulled so many that is there nothing positive? You know? It's like, okay. I mean, actually, I wouldn't say this is, oh, this is a really, I love intention. I really feel, I mean, I know this is about be clear and decide, focus on what you really want, be bold with your requests to the universe. This is usually for someone who's hesitant, right? So it's saying use intention. So again, not negative, but like addressing the issues. And then polarity has that kind of feel too. I mean, these are strong animals. Sometimes when you get a unicorn deck, it's really, oh, I'm your friend and I'm kind of going to hang around you and be there for you and stuff. But it's not, it feels almost too feminine. You know what I mean? I really get a feeling with this deck that, yeah, there's feminine unicorns here, maybe just open to femininity. But I feel like there's stronger ones more, and I wouldn't even say stronger. I would say masculine energy as well is present. This one's action. That's pretty cool. I like that forest scenery he's running through. Here's one of the ones that I don't know. It could really go either way for me. I've heard about a couple, but one looked way too like kiddish, or I think Ethany did a presentation or a walkthrough of or I guess it was blah, 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 a unicorn tarot, and it was very, very adorable. And I would say safe for kids because there's another one out there that's like has some nudity and stuff that wouldn't really be great for younger kids. But people were buying it for their kids thinking it was a safe deck. So I was like, no, I don't think so. Oh, I might have to switch my computers. I'm running low on power. Let me put this over here. Sorry. It's the one thing. Okay. This is going to get dizzy for a second. I got to flip it. There we go. There we go. Okay. I have to put you somewhere else in order to have that plugged in. Sorry. You get a bigger view of my house. There you go. Yeah. But yeah, that unicorn tarot, the older one, oh my goodness. That one was way too mature for some kids. So I don't know how good the coloring is going to be on this side, but here's this. This one's the nature in that deck. It's really beautiful. And again, I want to encourage you to go ahead and check out that other video that I already did on this deck, because it's gorgeous, and I think I did a full walkthrough and all that stuff and talked about it. But yeah, the guidebook isn't very big, but it does have some good info in it and a couple spreads. Let me see. Yeah, there's a elemental star spread, and through the forest, it's just a 4-card spread, but just a line. And daily cards. It's a good beginner. Oh, and that other one. Yeah. They actually have a few more that I'd forgotten about. It has Path to Miracles spread, the Pegasus spread, and the Unicorn Horn spread. So it's like a circle with the one in the center. So yeah, and then it goes into messages. Messages are only 1 page long. Yeah. Pretty much 1 page long. It's a nice little book. I mean, it's a Blue Angel publication, so it's usually pretty well done. And the box, of course, is lovely. You know how they get those deep, lovely colors inside and out. And this one has the pit with some of the, yeah, that same deep blue on the top, on the lid is the inside of the other one. So yeah, it's really nice. Yeah, I like using the spreads too, but when I'm working with people, I usually, unless I've spent a lot of time or make like a check, I need to make a little notebook that has the spreads, because unless I use a spread constantly, I will not remember it. And I tend to pull cards in more of an intuitive manner, or based off of the space I have in front of me too. So that makes it a little difficult. But I think I saw Kelly in Truth and Story had made these little notebooks, but she puts meanings and a lot of her studies of the different systems in there. I was thinking about just creating a spread book that I could kind of like glance to real quick and then go through. Yeah, you have a book? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, because I don't necessarily need all the meanings. I mean, if I'm studying it, then I only use that for study time. I don't use that for read, because I need to stay in the moment. Sometimes when I'm in like a free chat, when I work on this one site, I will pull the book out just to give a bit more information, because there's so many people in the free chat room that I can't always focus on one person very well. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I can totally understand doing that. Yeah, I'm not as organized as Kelly is. I admire her so much. She has like really awesome systems that I think work really well. Oh, my light's like in everybody's eyes. I might have to switch because it's like not good lighting here. So, hey, if you want to talk separately, Bella, I can meet you on Facebook. But I think I should go ahead and put an end on this because I went from one subject and moved into another, which I totally welcome. But I can't really get a good sitting position here with the phone needing to be hooked up. So if you'd like to switch over to Skype or get a time to talk, that's totally cool. All right. Bye-bye. And for anyone who watches this later, if you're interested in anything we talked about here, please feel free in comments or wherever on Facebook, get my attention. I'll be happy to do responses there or create another video or get another live chat going so we can talk about stuff. All right. Big hugs to everybody. Happy spring in April. Bye-bye. Okay. Let's